Greetings, you squelching leeches. My name is Graham, and this is the Crack-A-Pack here on LRRMTG. Please consider subscribing to the channel today. We are journeying into Nyx by opening this pack of Journey into Nyx. This was given to us by Laura and Keo at PAX West 2019. Thank you so much. Which one of these was the one that was poorly received? Was it Born of the Gods and Journey into Nyx, or just one of them? I can't remember if this set was good or not. Theros was great, and then they did two other smaller ones that people didn't like as much. I think because they diluted the draft format. Or something. It's hard to recall. This was 8 years ago? Gross. Font of Vigor is first. It's 1 and a white for an enchantment, and for 2 and a white and sacrifice Font of Vigor, you gain 7 life. There was a cycle of fonts, 1 in each color, and they cast and they came into play, and then you could sacrifice them to do a thing. And so basically the joke there was that you could trigger Constellation, because Constellation cared about when an enchantment entered play. And so you would play this as an enchantment and get whatever value was there, and then later you'd sacrifice it to get something relevant. Except for this one, which was just 7 life. And generally, just pure life gain is not good enough. Oakheart Dryads is 2 and a green for a 2/3 enchantment creature nymph dryad with Constellation. There we go. Whenever Oakheart Dryads or another enchantment creature enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Sure. This was where we saw enchantment creatures in this block. And there was a cycle also of Dryads with Constellation, except they all had different names. Creature type is all Dryads, but they were different types of Dryads depending on the color of magic. So there was like Oreads and Naiads and other ones that I don't remember. But Lampads, thank you, yeah. But they were all creature type Dryad, but they were all just like different flavors of Dryad, which I don't know, I thought was neat. Feast of Dreams, 1 and a black for an instant. Destroy target enchanted creature or enchantment creature, which was a surprising number of creatures in this set. This was still limiting, but it's one of those ones where it's like, you know, it's the cheap removal with this set's limitation on it. But still, you'd probably run Feast of Dreams in most decks. To not would be Hubris. Hubris is 1 and a blue for an instant. Return target creature and all auras attached to it to their owner's hands. Honestly, not spectacular unless you were going for maximum tempo or were about to kill your opponent. Because in some situations with Heroic, they could just be like, oh, thanks for all these Heroic triggers again. Recast all the auras. But yeah, so if you're just bouncing a creature, then Hubris is just a 2-mana unsummon, and that's probably fine. It doesn't even help you if your creature's like pacified or arrested or something, because they get that back. You get your creature, but they get the arrest and can put it on something else. Anyway, speaking of creatures that aren't likely to kill your opponent, Satyr Hoplite is a single red mana for a 1/1 Satyr Soldier with Heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Satyr Hoplite, put a +1/+1 counter on Satyr Hoplite. You would think it's a 1 mana 1/1 with the Heroic ability that gives it counters. You would think that this card was an absolute banger, and for some reason, I think because of how the draft format shifted between sets, it like wasn't really. The 1 mana 1/2 from just Theros was astonishing, and maybe this would have been good in just Theros, but for some reason, putting this in Journey into Nyx was like, that's the noise it made. Ooh, that was spicier. All right. Satyr Grove Dancer is 1 and a green for a 1/1 Satyr Shaman. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. We've seen this card like a bajillion times. This is like Timberland Guide, or the Beetle from Kaladesh, or, you know, the 2 mana 1/1 that could be a 2/2, or maybe give something else a 1/1. It's fine. It's fine. It's Sure. Font of Ire. This is the red one. It's only marginally better, if I'm being honest. 1 in a red for an enchantment. For 3 in a red, sacrifice Font of Ire. It deals 5 damage to target player. So it's, you know, it's a lava axe on layaway that maybe gives you a constellation trigger, and maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all we needed. It's not great. Wouldn't go out of my way for it. Blood Crazed Hoplite. Ooh, I recall this one being kind of interesting. 1 in a black for a 2/1 human soldier with heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Blood Crazed Hoplite, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Great. Whenever a +1/+1 counter is placed on Blood Crazed Hoplite, remove a +1/+1 counter from target creature an opponent controls. You can really mess them up with that. Oreskos Swift Claw is a blade. It's 1 and a white for a 3/1. It's a cat warrior. Yeah. I mean, it trades for stuff, right? Like it trades for anything is the problem because it's only got 1 toughness. But ideally you can block something larger with it, I guess, or get some early attacks in, maybe. And early attack in. That's fine. You could do some cool stuff with that Hoplite. You didn't often get a chance to, but you could technically. Warwing Siren is 2 and a blue for a 1/3, flying Siren Soldier with heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, put a +1/+1 counter on Warwing Siren. Then it becomes a 2/4 flyer, and then maybe a 3/5, and then it's a problem. The 1/3 flyer isn't like astonishing, but for 3, that's not bad. Armory of Iroas, a 2-mana artifact equipment. The entire armory. How much can you carry? What? Take all those shields. Whenever equipped creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Equip for 2. Targeting for equip didn't make heroic go, so equipment was like mediocre. Combos with Blood Crazed Hoplite in kind of an interesting way, because the Hoplite doesn't have to have the counter put there by the heroic ability. But I don't recall ever seeing this be played, which obviously means it's bad. Next we have the Riddle of Lightning. This card's sweet. 3 red for an instant. Choose target creature or player. Scry 3. Then reveal the top card of your library. Riddle of Lightning deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to that creature or player. So you gotta pick ahead of time. You pick before you know the result. So if it's the opponent, I guess you don't really care, but you could dome your opponent with this thing. But I just like that it's an instant and you get to scry and probably kill something or do a bunch of damage to your opponent. There's some expensive, we haven't opened any of them yet, but there are some expensive cards in this format, so, you know, you could do stuff. I don't know, I think Riddle of Lightning is really neat. Fellhide Petrifier, one of the many Minotaurs. Taurens in the set. 2 and a black for a 2/3 Minotaur warrior with Death Touch. Other Minotaur creatures you control have Death Touch, because he's carrying around the head of a Gorgon. It's common practice among Minotaurs to collect the heads of their victims as trophies. Sometimes the trophies prove more than ornamental. Oh. There we go. We figured it out. We want to have a Minotaur with Death Touch. Well, Minotaurs don't have Death Touch. Well, have one carrying a Gorgon head? Yeah, right. We got a Plains and an ad card about the event decks, and our rare is the Dictate of Krufix. 1 blue for an enchantment with flash. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. It's like one of them Howling Mines. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. So you can flash it in the end of your opponent's turn so that you get the first double draw, but then everyone's going to get to draw lots and lots of cards. And you just have to hope that the cards that you draw are more powerful and better than your opponent's cards, because presumably you've drafted a better deck because you know what you're doing, and they're a terrible scrub who sucks, is I think the plan. That's also my first pick, because Dictated Krufix, you know, is powerful. You just get, everyone gets extra cards. I would probably take Riddle of Lightning fairly highly otherwise, even though it's like maybe not, you know, the best bet to take a 5-mana double red spell first, but I think Riddle of Lightning is pretty sweet. And the rest of this pack is medium. Short of the Dictate and the Riddle maybe, this is one of the weaker packs of Journey into Nyx. I'm saying, though, as I say that out loud, maybe this is just what the whole set looked like, and that's why people were medium on it. pack is worth $2.42 overall, with the Dictate worth $1.50. So, you know, that's a good pickup there. But yeah, I'm now just sort of remembering that, like, maybe this whole set was kind of weakly powered, except for the Dictates. The Dictates I recall being pretty strong. Was Chromanticore in this set? Or Born of the Gods? I'm getting the order right, yeah? It was Theros, Born of the Gods, Journey into Nyx? That must have been correct. So this was the third set. James has confirmed that that is in fact correct. All right, well, we'll take the Dictate and be pretty happy with that, and hopefully pick up some other blue cards that are good. So thanks to Laura and Keo from PAX West 2019 for this pack of Journey into Nyx. Hopefully you have enjoyed coming on this journey with me. Haha. If you'd like to give us a pack of cards, you don't have to, but you can. The address on your screen. And of course, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. I've been Graham. James has been running tech. Matt edits these. Heather gets them online. And thank you all for watching. So I've accomplished all the words. Bye.